session.
Yep. Okay. So today we got a whole basket full of light meters. Light meter galore. So we have many brands here. We got the German Gosen. We got the American Spectra. You got the British Western Master, the Japanese Minota, Pentex, and Seconic. All right. So let's see, where do we start? Okay, let me do the Gosen. Gosen is a well-known light meter company from Germany. They made a whole series of light meter for professional and amateur. This small one is a simple one. Uh, this one doesn't need any light battery. You can measure reflected light, incident light. You just aim it, and then this straight needle will move according to the light, and you turn the dial so that the triangle match it, and then you do the reading of course prior to that you set the ISO. So this meter doesn't need any battery to run. Now on the most serious one we have these two, the Luna Pro and the Luna 6.3. They are both identical model but made for different market. For the American market we call it the Luna Pro. For the rest of the world it is marketed as Luna 6.3. So the Luna, where this Luna come from is that the photocell is sensitive enough to measure the light from the moonlight. So they call it Luna. And it's not just a basic meter. Basic meter, you set ISO, you set the measuring range, then you dial in the number and you make a readout. But it's also a system meter. You can put attachment like this. One attachment like this, you narrow the measuring angle to 7.5 degrees or 15 degree, and then you do the measurement and then you read off according to the corresponding color coded index. So you can have a narrow angle attachment. In my earlier video I showed you I have the lab attachment, a repro attachment, so and also a microscope attachment you can put into the microscope tube, and they have a flexible fiber optic probe. So this is Gosen. They also make this 1 degree spot meter. It also have reading calibrated for the zone system. So the difference between this is that they have a viewfinder system and they got a small tiny circle in the middle. So you aim that on your subject matter. Of course you set your ISO, shutter speed, aperture, you take the reading. The thing about spot meter is it can read off from a far distance, just a small portion of the scene. You don't have to walk up near to the subject. Only thing with the spot meter is that you must know where you want to aim and what reading you want to get. So you got to do some thought in the usage. It's not just point and shoot. So we have this Gosen on the Europe side. Then the Japanese side, we have a lot. We have the Minota. Of course, Minota, you don't hear the name anymore. You still get the name for Minota, photocopier and other things. But they do have light meters. So they had the earlier one. This is the flash meter 4. It functions for ambient light and flash reading. So you have this cone which you can take out for attachments. So same thing, you set the mode, whether you want to measure flash reading or ambient reading, turn it on, then you take a reading, then the display will give you the setting that you need. Okay, so let's see. All right, we got the display here, both digital and analog. So after you make a reading, then you read off the combination. So for the flash, you can plug in the sync cord from the flash unit. Then you can, when you make the press to take the reading, you will fire the flash. Then it will give you the aperture. This one is the next model to this. Flash meter 4 is a more streamlined menu, but essentially do the same thing. take flash reading, take ambient reading. And since I'm on this, they actually have a socket here on the side. You can plug in another probe for macro. And I got this thing here from the Cine large format camera. This is a TTL light measuring probe. So this one can be connected to the meter. So you plug it to the side. So now this meter will take the light reading from the probe. So this is a cassette. You push it into the 4x5 camera. And then you can locate where you want, which part of the subject you want to take the reading. So you take TTL reading through the lens for the large format camera. So, yeah, this is a cassette. So you got the Minota. This is a Minota spot meter. Same thing, measure spot meter and flash meter combined. You can measure flash reading, small part. You can measure ambient light, spot meter. So this Minota. Now the Pentex company also have light meter, but they only made 1 degree spot meter. So they have an analog version and the digital version. So this, a lot of the cinema people use it. So there is one, they got a dial, a moving dial. So when you take the reading, the needle will go to the number, you set it accordingly. You got 2 dials, one for normal photography and one for cinematography. So they got 2 scales. This analog, and this one is same. This one is a digital. So it gives you a digital display. You see a number, then you dial it to the numbering system. And this owner have already calibrated this for the zone system. So he can set the zone that he wants. So it was calibrated by an independent company, modified by Zone 6 Studio Incorporated. So it's recalibrated for zone system. Then we have Seconic. This one doesn't use battery. So you push, the photocell will gives the reading, goes to a number, then you turn to the number scale, either the low scale or the high scale, and you take a reading. This you can swivel. And this one you can take out, or you can also slide in the direct reading plate. So you preset the ISO, shutter speed, and you only read off the aperture. Yeah, this is Seconic. This one is another Seconic. So this one uses a color LCD screen, touch screen. So the same controls, it's just that the display system is on a touch screen. Take a reading, it gives you all the combination. This one is a combination flash meter with a 1 degree narrow angle finder. So it's a combined. So you can choose either to use this as a spot meter, or you use the dome. The dome, you can take it out for normal incident reading, or you can flush it in to measure light balance. So, yeah. It also has the touchscreen display, and this model is it talks to the Pocket Wizard. So those who are using Pocket Wizard, you can trigger from there. So it links up together. Now this one is a special meter. This one is called a color temperature meter. So it doesn't measure light. What it does is to measure the color temperature. So just turn it on. Yeah. Also got a touch screen. So after you're done the initial settings, so you just press to measure a reading on the light source, and they give you the color balance in Kelvin, in different other codes, in filter correction, depending on what brand of filter you use, whether the Lee filter or the Kodak color compensating filter. So when you get this value, you know how to adjust with the respective filter to give you the right color balance, because it works for both film and digital photography. Now, for those of you who go under the water to take picture, Secon have this underwater light meter. So it's the same as a normal light meter on land, except that it's sealed, so water doesn't get in. So you can have the control. I'm not putting the battery yet, so you can preset the dial. Yeah, preset the dial. There you got shutter speed, aperture, so you can set it up. This is the sensor that measures the light. So underwater, you can have the exposure reading, underwater one. But for me, this whole bunch today, this is the most interesting one. This is the godfather of light meter, Western Master, made in UK, later on in the United States. And this one uses the selenium cell for light measurement. You don't need the battery. So you take a reading, the needle will deflect, and then you set up all this. This look like a very complicated slide rule, but that's all what it is. It's just for you to set the ISO, then you follow the number, then you read off the combination. Now, for low light measurement, you take this out. So you expose the cell. So this for low light measurement. Now, for those who want to measure incident light, which is a better method for light measurement, they provide this attachment. This is called an invert cone. It's very flat. It's an inverted cone, invert cone. So you put this here, clip this here. So when you clip this, it's the same as this big half ping pong ball. So you got incident measurement. All right. So this is the Western Master, very well known light meter. Then got one from the US. It's a Spectra. A lot of cinema people use this. This model uses the same selenium cell, so you push to take a reading. Yeah, push, take a reading. Then it gives you the combination. Then of course there's a dial. This meter, they had another version, it's not here. It's called the Spectra Combi. So it is both a CDS meter and a selenium meter combined. Okay, so these are used by cinema people. But all this meter, when they measure and calibrate the light, they are actually giving you a light reading taken off 80% reflectance card. That's where all the light meter are captured. So light meter is not a do-all thing. It's a good instrument, otherwise you'll be shooting blind. But when you take the reading, you have to interpret whether you want to have emphasis in the highlight or the shadow and a certain thing on the skin or mid-tone. So you have to do a little bit of adjustment. So, but it is a good starting point. So, light meter, plenty of them.
Wow, fantastic. Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.